Alright guys, welcome to episode number 3. We're gonna get straight into it, like usual. Wanted to call out, I did get a piece of feedback from everybody already. One of them is hour-long episodes, once a week, is way too much to ask people to take time out of their life to share with me. So I'm gonna do my damnedest, to keep these down to like 20-30 minutes. So this week we should be alright. We've only got like 9 or 10 comics. So here we go. We're gonna just get straight into the comics of the week. Alright, first comic here. The Mighty Thor 703 by Jason Aaron, Russell Lauderman, and Matthew Wilson. So this comic has been incredible. This is the best comic Marvel does. Period. Hands down. In this issue, Jane Foster has been the chick Thor lately, and she is dying every time she picks up the hammer. It jacks up her cancer she has. So finally she goes off to be Thor and blacks out when she comes back to the Jane Foster mode and wakes up in a hospital, where Falcon, Doctor Strange, Ross Solomon, and Unworthy Thor are waiting for her and they have an intervention, and it's a long drawn-out affair where they're telling her that she can't be Thor anymore, and Doctor Strange has done some tests, and if she turns into Thor one more single time, when she turns back to human, she'll die. That's it. She's at her limit. She's going to die if she does this again. And as they're having this conversation, lo and behold, Mjolnir shows up like, hey, let's go save the world. And she rejects Mjolnir. It actually, like, no, doesn't pick up the hammer. Meanwhile, the Mangog is here. The Mangog is an old villain, and he's hardcore and brutal. He shows up in Asgard last issue and starts fighting Heimdall, the guy with the eyes who can see everything. And they're fighting, and he breaks Heimdall's sword and shoves Heimdall's sword into his eye. So that was ruthless. What I wanted to show you guys, though, the incredible art that came out of him smashing the Bifrost Bridge and just destroying it, and all the colors and the beautiful of him just shattering the Rainbow Bridge, and all the gods are there and they go to fight and they're calling him out and he's just wasting the gods, and Cull's there, and Cull's brave but a wussy and won't actually fight him. Freya gets the Destroyer armor, which is more powerful than it's ever been in the history of Marvel. Goes to fight him, and again, he eats it. Look at that. He eats it. Just nom 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 nom. Bites the head off the Destroyer armor. Destroys it. And the comic goes on where he just lays waste to Asgardia all the way into the last panel where he's going to Odin like, I'm gonna eat you, Odin! And Odin's one eye, looks horrified. He looks so scared because he knows he's gonna die. And the very last thing you see in this comic, that's right, father-son, for the first time in years, are gonna show down against the Mangog. So this comic has been incredible. This is by far above and beyond my favorite comic that is being made by Marvel. It has got all the tones and flavors and vibes of the old 70s stuff, but the new colors and the beautifulness of the modern current day, and it's the best of everything! So if you're not reading Thor, you should be, because Thor is the best comic there is right now by Marvel. Undeniably. Undeniably. Alright, next on the list is Star Wars 42. This is written by Karen Gillan, art by Salvador LaRocha, and Guru Effects. This is continuing the assault on the giant, city-wide barren ore destroyer that is just mind-stripping this planet for the resources, and the item at the end of last issue that was going to solve it all is, of course, as Princess Leia is known for, schematics. Schematics for the entire city thing, and they find a way to break in. So they get smuggled aboard. Leia, Luke, and 3PO and R2 get smuggled aboard this thing and start screwing around with the inside. Meanwhile, Han and these other rebellion people are being a distraction and just kind of like losing around, causing issues. And yeah, that's pretty much where it's going. They break in, they start this plan to take out this giant city thing, which is very Star Wars-y in this particular group, where it's, we're going to splice in and we're going to cause a distraction and we're going to do this stuff. And Luke breaks off and goes and picks a fight with this Imperial guy who's like part cyborg. So that's going to be a freaking incredible fight, I have a feeling. And then Leia encounters the chick in charge of this giant ore thing. So it'll kind of be like a princess queen fight. That'll be a lot of fun. So here's our cyborg looking guy that Luke's going to square off. so he'll be cool. And the only issue I have with this comic I didn't get a chance to call out last time. Sometimes the faces in this comic are faces, like comic faces. And sometimes the faces in this comic are like photoshopped faces over the face. It's so weird, and it's very shocking and jarring with the back and forth, and that's my only complaint about this comic is the faces. Screw with me, because they're back and forth, they're all over. But otherwise, Star Wars, again, solid hit, great art, beautiful storyline. Love where it's going. Love where it's going. Alright, so we're already into the DC stuff for the night. Next, we've got Batman number 39 by Tom King, Jolie Jones, and Jordi Belair. Again, I love Tom King. Great writer. This issue has Wonder Woman show up in Gotham, come to Batman and tell him straight up that apparently in an old issue of Justice League there was a man named the Gentleman, and the Gentleman lived in another dimension and fought an endless horde, and that was all he did, day and night, never ending, just fought and fought and fought and fought and fought, and had been doing this for thousands and thousands of years. Because time moved differently in this dimension. So he has decided he needs a break. So he trades places with Batman and Wonder Woman, because this is something they'd offered him in the past. So he comes to our time, and he comes to us, they go to him. And as they're leaving, it's so cute. Batman gets armor, like straight up, Batman gets armor, and they're kind of making fun of him for it. And it's awesome because you get to see them just killing. I mean, mad amounts of monsters. They're just slaying them left and right, and an afternoon goes by in our time, where Catwoman is showing the Gentleman around our world. And in the other time, 10 years goes by. And the issue ends with Wonder Woman and Batman, like, this far away from having a kiss. And that is only very relevant because Batman's supposed to be marrying Catwoman, so if he starts snogging Wonder Woman while he's in this other dimension and comes back home, how's that going to work for his current situation with the cat? So, yeah, again, Tom King, great comic, top tier, like, oh, Batman's so good right now with him writing it. Cannot believe. Alright, Bombshells United number 10. This was written by Marguerite Bennett, art by Mirka Andolfa and David Hahn. Alright, as we know, Jason got brought back last issue with Renee and Batwoman kind of like, yay, our little boy's back. And they stay in this labyrinth with Talia Ghul and Cheetah. Meanwhile, Black Adam's still doing his thing, being a tyrant over Spain. And you finally get to meet one of the Shazams. And Shazam shows up, and she wants to help, and she gets lured out by Black Adam into this public execution that was staged to lure out Batgirl, but she'll work just as fine. And meanwhile, they're under the city, and they feel the rumblings of the encounter up above, and they decide it's time to stop hiding, because they've been down here like a week or more, and it's time to go confront Black Adam. So they go to leave, and as they go to leave, everything falls apart, because Black Adam and the Shazams show up in the labyrinth at the pit. And it's very shady because he's like, alright, cool, I found the pit. I'm going to resurrect my wife. And Talia Ghul's there, and she's like, yeah, and they're chatting. But she's sealed it over, so I'm very unclear whether, like, she's going to dupe him, or whether she's, like, hiding it from him, or whether she's going to try and convince him it doesn't work, or what she's doing. Like, she's a bad guy playing both sides of the good guys and the bad guys. So we'll have to see what happens there. The only real action you saw in this was Renee Montoya and Batwoman take way too long to set up a really cool attack and kill the Minotaur. And other than that, it was just a fun, wholesome Bombshells issue. Beautiful and great and elaborate and fun. So, yeah. Alright, so the next issue I got wasn't on my pull list, but I went back and picked it up the next day anyways. It is Damage from the new Age of Heroes line that they've just decided to put out. And these things are incredible. They are... A while back, Marvel put their foot in their mouth and said, artists don't matter, they don't push the needle, people buy books for the writer. So DC immediately decided to respond with an entire series of books that was forced or pushed by artists. And this is one of the books that's a result. It also ties into metal. It also is kind of a troll line. Every one of these comics almost, there's 8 in this whole line that's going to come out. 6 of them, maybe 7 of them, you can pretty much be like, that's a ripoff of this Marvel character. And it's kind of funny. It's like DC was like, well, if Marvel can't write comic books the way that their fans want to write comic books, we'll make a subline that writes comic books in the manner that the Marvel fans want comic books. It's so trolly on every level, and it's great. But these comics come with these really cool fold-out covers that are all art and beautiful and gorgeous, and these are really fun. So I picked up the first issue. I don't plan to continue buying this comic. I might look into it and trade paperbacks down the line, but currently I just bought issue 1, kind of wanted to promote these and get them out there, tell people more about them, because this is a really cool pitch, like I said. It's done by Tony Daniels and Robert Venditti, and then the art is just, there's a list of artists on here that's unreal. It's gorgeous. The idea here is it's a guy who 1 hour a day turns into an unbelievably strong, undefeatable monster. He's just like a rage beast that just destroys everything in sight. The actual human seems to be able to talk to the monster, like subconsciously in its head, and kind of convey things back and forth. But other than that, it's just kind of straightforward, like, big monster, fights some robots, causes lots of destruction. As I called out, the art is just so detailed and amazing, and it's really well done. The story is kind of just bland, basic, real. He fights a guy, he gets away. They bring in the Suicide Squad to track this monster down, and it ends like I think 100 Hulk comics have ever ended, with, that's right, a skinny white guy in his pants in a crater. So it's literally like a Hulk ripoff. But I have no problem with that. I think it was done in a fashion that isn't an issue, and these could be a lot of fun as they progress. So like I said, I won't be buying this monthly, but I just wanted to kind of call that out and tell people that these are out there, and you should go check them out at your local comic book shop, because I think these are going to be a lot of fun. And there'll be more of these on my pull list that I have subscribed to, so keep an eye out. Alright, next up, Justice League number 37. This is written by Priest, art by Philip Bryans and Gabe Eltabe. So, Justice League has had the storyline right now where they have issues of public opinion, where the public's starting to not trust them and very leery and wary of them due to some recent events. And last issue, Simon Baz, one of the Green Lanterns, was kidnapped, and a congresswoman was killed by a copycat Batman. We find out that Batman, that copycat, and the guy that did the kidnapping is basically the Justice League's biggest fan. This guy has collected paraphernalia and memorabilia of them for years, and he thinks they're just great. And they didn't really explain why he's doing this. He's just a deranged, like, over-the-top fan. They show him, like, being saved as a child and, like, growing up, or saved as a younger kid and then growing up and being this, like, deranged lunatic. And what he, obviously Simon Baz realizes kind of what's going on, breaks out, as this guy has got this plan to do what he's doing to the Justice League. I mean, he gets into the detail. He dresses up as Hal Jordan, who he believes is the best member of the Justice League ever, by the way, so, which is arguable. And he goes to a TV show that's being broadcast, and he goes to crash it and steal the network to get his message out in a very classic terrorist way. And as he gets there, he shows up, and the hostess and the old guy being interviewed turn out to be Aquaman and Wonder Woman, and the Justice League's there, and they beat the guy up and they shut him down. But the end of it, he's just laughing maniacally, just absolutely losing it. And they're really uncertain, like, why is he so happy about this? So yeah, this guy knows every one of them's name. He knows all their backstories, all their history. He was part of the team that designed the Watchtower originally, so he has like cameras hidden in it and stuff. And this guy is bad news, because it's one of those, this one dude, if he talks, could bring down the entire Justice League. Like if he goes to Congress and explains what he knows, they're all done. There goes Batman, there goes both the new Lanterns, Wonder Woman's whatever, Aquaman's whatever, Cyborg would be her, Barry Allen would be her, Clark Kent would be like, oh golly, I mean, like, it'd be awful. So this comic has been way better since Priest took over. Justice League has been actually very, very solid and very, very good. Alright, next up we have Nightwing number 37. This is by a host of people. There's two different creative teams, one for the current, like, the now time, and one for the flashback time. So we're just gonna save the seconds of you guys' life and just move on. I'm struggling with Nightwing. This comic has been very classic of comic vibe, but it's not great. It's good, don't get me wrong, it's very solid, it's very, yeah, alright, but it's not as amazing or incredible as many of the things I read. So I actually am not sure how many more episodes this comic is going to be on here, because I find myself in a precarious position of, would I rather read Nightwing twice a month, or would I rather read X-Men Gold, which is, I don't know, I'm kind of on that fence. So anyways, this is it's continued with some flashbacks, explaining the history of Judge, explaining the history of the Shark family, which I was super excited for with Guppy, and he was awesome. And they bring in a character from back in the day. It was like just this random chick that never went anywhere. Now she's switched sides almost. Like, she was against the casinos, now she's running a casino, and it's just kind of confusing. And they're not doing anything current. It's like they're reaching back to old stories and making a story in a story that wasn't intentionally supposed to be a story in a story that they made a story in a story, and it just doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't click, it doesn't vibe with me on a high tier. So yeah, I'm not much, not that I hate it, not that I dislike it. I'll probably just switch over to a different format and buy this in trades, so that way when I have the time and money, I can read it, and when I don't have the time and money, I cannot read it. So yeah, sorry guys, Nightwing's just meh right now, and I think it's going to get switched out to something far more exciting. Alright, probably the sweetest issue of the week for me, at least personally. Superman number 39 by Peter Tomasi, Patrick Gleason, and Barry Kitson. This issue was amazing. It was so good in so many ways. It starts with the cheesiest, hokiest thing you've ever seen, like the Demolition Team, and they're like making fun of like the 80s and 90s and how the comics worked. And it's the first couple of pages, and Superman takes him out, and there happens to be a hospital, a children's hospital, right there. And Superman decides that he's going to do something sweet, and he gets Hal Jordan, who I'm not sure why Hal's on the planet for this, but we're going to go with it, to scoop up all the children and take them out into space. Literally out into space, and they're showing the kids what it's like to be in zero gravity, and they take them to the watchtower, and it shows these amazing splash pages where all the children are having fun, and they're doing their thing, and it's great, and then they decide they're going to do a scavenger hunt, and it's, you know, like Wonder Woman's lasso and a batarang and Flash's badge insignia, and then they're like, and the very hardest part is a picture of Batman smiling. And they do the whole thing, and they're getting it, and it's cute, and it's sweet, and these you know, sick and dying children are having the time of their life. And one of them, the main character from the kid's perspective, goes up and whispers a joke to Batman. It makes Batman laugh, and they all get pictures of it. And they're like, "What'd you say?" And he's like, "I told him a joke." Batman's like, "It was funny." You know, because even Batman, he's stony, but with the kids, yeah, he's sweet and genuine still, because they're so innocent and cute. And they take the children to the moon, and they let the kids write their names on rocks, and they tell the kids, "These will be here longer than you. You guys do matter. You do make an impact, even though you're sick and in the hospital." And it ends with this just gorgeous art shot of the children and Superman just staring at Earth, and it was just sweet and wholesome, and it was obviously a filler issue after the last, you know, story arc, and then the new one coming up. And man, Superman consistently the entire time through Rebirth, every single time they've had a fill-in issue, they've been just cute and wholesome and sweet, and it's just it's charming. it makes you feel good as a human, exactly like Superman's supposed to be, the best of humanity and the hope of everybody. So this one melted my heart, and I really, really liked this issue. Alright, Trinity number 17 by James Robinson, Patch Zurcher, and Gabe L. Tabigan. God. So this issue was good. They have the three of them looking into a disturbance out in the sea, and this comic's awesome because it's Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, the three biggest names in DC all in one comic. And it's got a nice friendship vibe, and it's got a nice storytelling vibe, it's got a nice action vibe. And they're looking into a disturbance, the three of them. So it's Superman and Wonder Woman flying, and Batman and one of his ships like flying around. And there's a little boat, like a tugboat, that they save, and in the process, after they get saved from this anomaly, they get sucked into the portal. That's exactly what they're looking for. And they wind up on another planet, like another realm. And they realize really quickly where they're like, hey, something's familiar. And these lizard people start attacking them. Superman has no powers. Wonder Woman is actually blinded. And Batman is Batman. So they're all very low-powered, low-keyed, so to speak, at the moment. But Wonder Woman's Wonder Woman, and she is awesome. And they fight these lizards, and there's some good action. And one of the things I liked about this is they have kind of like an inner monologue that all three of them talk at the same time, but it tells one story. So it'll be like blue writing for Superman, red writing for Wonder Woman, black writing for Batman, and you kind of toggle between the three of them's thoughts and opinions to get one full story. And that was a really creative way of telling this kind of format. And they realize that they're lost on Skataris. I've never heard of this place. Again, very new to DC. Skataris. It looks like the Savage Lands in Marvel to me. And they meet a guy named the Warlord. So, yeah, just a good, action, fighting monsters, doing stuff, not end of the world peril, but just fun comic. Trinity has consistently just been a fun comic to read. It's been very good, and I've enjoyed the crud out of it. Alright, next we have Wonder Woman and Conan the Barbarian number 5 by Gail Simone, Aaron Loprest, and Matt Ryan. What happens in this issue is very hard to explain in a short time frame because I would have to explain most of what's happened in the story arc prior to this. So instead, I'm just going to tell you kind of an overview of what I think. This comic has been really good. It's Wonder Woman in Conan's land. Conan thinks Wonder Woman is a girl that he fell in love with in adolescence, childhood. Wonder Woman has no memory. They met in a gladiator pit. They've been fighting back and forth. There's a pair of evil crow women who are really, really strikingly hot, screwing with them, trying to get them to fight each other to the death to see which one is better, and they've just refused to do it. Some Amazons from Themyscira go to find Wonder Woman, so they capture these women, and they're like, we're going to execute the Amazons, or we're going to execute the girl that Conan has thought Wonder Woman has been. He thought it was this other girl, and she's not. And it was like, we're going to kill these people unless you guys fight. And finally Conan's like, oh, you're not the girl I thought you were. Sorry, chickadee, I'm going to kill you. And then they get whisked away. The Amazons do. It's really bizarre. How it just kind of subtly, like, there's a big fight, everybody's killing everything, and they get out. They leave. And these crow chicks are so angry that the Amazons were able to escape. And they keep trying to force this fight. And it ends with, because there's still one more issue. So if Wonder Woman's gone, but her golden lasso has remained behind. So Conan is just kind of dumbfounded, like, what just happened? In every way, like. So it's been a crazy, wild story. This is another one of those, when it finally gets all 6 issues in like a trade paperback form, this will be a fun story just to pick up a trade, sit down, crack open, read, knock it out. Yeah, done by DC and Dark Horse, so it's one of those work together, I don't know the word I'm looking for right now. Bad me. But yeah, they work together, there's cooperation, that's the word. And it's fantastic, I'm loving it. Alright guys, another episode down, taken care of. It was, again, a lot shorter this time. I'm going to try and keep on that part because it was fewer comics this week than the last couple, but part because I'm going to start cutting out the dry meh. So, thank you guys for spending some time with me and watching another episode of this. Thank you to my local comic book shop, Griffin's Comics and Games, and I appreciate you guys taking time out of your life to spend with me to share comic book love. So, see you guys again next week. Bye.
Yeah.